Hello, cruisers, and greetings from the Sapphire Princess. We're in Montevideo, Uruguay today, wrapping up a wonderful 17-day cruise to Antarctica. Are you thinking about going to Antarctica? Well, if so, we have some tips for you, especially if you're thinking about doing what they call a drive-by cruise. What is a drive-by cruise? A drive-by cruise is a cruise where you go to the continent of Antarctica, but you don't actually get off the ship. Why is that? Well, to get off a ship, you have to be in a smaller ship. It has to be a very small ship with only maybe 100, 200 passengers that are going to be able to go off onto land, to be able to do the kayaks, to be able to go on the Zodiac boats. Now, is that worth it? It's up to you. Generally, those are more expensive, and you've got to go down to what they call a mudroom and get dressed up to go out onto land, and it's a whole to-do. If that's your thing, great. If you can afford to do it, wonderful. But do you really want to be in a small expedition ship crossing the Drake Channel? Probably not. So there's an alternative for you. You can do what they call an air bridge and fly over the Drake and do a small ship cruising in Antarctica. That's what I would recommend. Again, adds to the price. So if you don't want to do that, and let's face it, right? Have you been to the Panama Canal? Maybe you have, but I don't think you probably swam in it. Have you been to Glacier Bay? Maybe you have, but I don't think you probably walked in it or swam in it. So do you have to actually set foot on Antarctica to make that your seventh continent? No, you can certainly sail it. So what do you want to do with choosing a ship now to sail to do a drive-by cruise in Antarctica? So what you want to do is a couple things. Number one, you want to find the biggest ship. Why? Because when it comes to crossing the famed, feared Drake Passage, size matters. Not only the size, but what you do with it as well. So we look for the largest ship going, Sapphire Princess. We look for a stable ship, the Sapphire Princess. And if you know anything about ships, and that speed is based upon, maximum speed is based upon hull length and hull speed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, the bigger ships also go faster. So you can cross the Drake much more quickly on a larger ship. So we chose the biggest ship we could find, the Sapphire Princess. Some of the advantages of Princess, the medallion thing that they have now is a wonderful way to get service. You can be anywhere on the ship and order a drink or food and it comes right to you. The food and the service have been wonderful. So all that said, we really enjoyed our time on Princess. Stability, the Sapphire Princess, this generation of the Grand Princess ships is very stable. Size is perfect. Less than 2,700 passengers, double occupancy, so it doesn't feel crowded. Lots of outdoor public viewing areas to see the spectacular scenery. And here's the other important thing. The Sapphire Princess spends 4 days in Antarctica. You can go on Norwegian, also a big ship, not as big as a Sapphire, a big ship, Norwegian Star, but only spends 2 days. So if you take the everything together, the gestalt of size, speed, itinerary, all put together, then you come up with the Sapphire Princess, which is what we did. Another bonus, if you go during December and you happen to be a football fan, either college or pro, my goodness, Princess paid to get access to all the games, right? They got the games that were on Netflix. They got the games that were on Amazon. I hope that they paid for it. Anyhow, we got to see them. So if you're like my wife and you're really into football, you're going to be happy to be able to watch these games while you're crossing the Drake Passage kind of thing, right? So all told, again, you put everything together, size, time, itinerary, stability. If you're going to do a drive-by, you're going to save a lot of money over doing the excursion, the expedition ships. You're going to also have more chances of a smooth sailing across the Drake. For us, the seas were not calm. It wasn't a Drake Lake. There were 14-foot seas, but we weren't following seas, and we didn't feel it. We did pass, by the way, even when you get to Antarctica, if you do the air bridge, you can still wind up with fairly rough seas out there. Our roughest night actually was coming out of Buenos Aires, where we hit really high seas. But even in Antarctica, you can get very rough seas. And we actually saw one of those small expedition ships with a modern X-bow going across where we were. And that little ship was doing this and going up and going down and pitching, and we were rock steady. So that's our tip for today. You're gonna do Antarctica, you're gonna do a drive-by, Princess.